understand that Jacques wants to show us his mussels today.
Oh, yes, here it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I got more here. I got the big mussel, the wild one, and I got cultivated mussel.
And we have all kinds of oysters with strange shapes, weirdly colored clams, and shrimp with and without the shell.
This is the shellfish day.
Let's start cooking.
Happy cooking.
Bon appetit. It's wonderful that nowadays we can get raw shellfish all over the country because it's sent by plane and more people are getting interested in it. But you must be very careful where you buy it so that people are really serious about keeping it properly.
Yes, you can even go to a store and they will show you the batch number of their shellfish. This is required by law to show that it has been inspected. So they are great.
One thing, what I always do when I get, say, oysters or clams home, I wash them in cold water. Then as you notice with oysters, you have the curved part of the shell like that, and then you have the lid. And you always want to store them curved shell down.
Right.
So that they sit in their juices. And I scrub them with a brush, and then I arrange them in a bowl, all like that, so that they're sitting down that way. They will keep for several days. I cover them with a damp paper towel and some foil and put them in the fridge.
Right. But you see, when you see one which is open like this one, for example, if you touch the muscle, that little abducting muscle inside like this, or if you bang it on the outside, and if it really doesn't move, this one is really dead.
Throw it out.
Yes. But see, we have another one here which is open.
Yeah.
And if I bang it a little bit, you see the way it closed?
So it's alive.
Yeah. It's just breathing for air, so you know this one is alive. Those are nice, by the way. Those are butter clam, they call them. There are 4 or 5 names for it.
I've never seen those
they are very
before.
inexpensive at the supermarket.
Now let's see you open an oyster.
Let's say this one. I think this is a well flit. I like to open it with this. I mean, I have different knives, but I like this one. What do you like to open your oyster?
Well, I always try with a can opener. If
With
I
a can
can't do
opener.
that, then I use something like that.
So one of the best ways is at the hinge there. You can do them on the side, but you tend to put some shell in it. So here you have to pry it open. As now I felt it open, so with the side of the knife, I have to cut the abducting muscle on top, you see? And now
look at it. See, this muscle here is what keeps it closed.
so this is really full. And then it's harder to eat this way. So what you want to do is to cut the other part underneath so that it's totally loose. So you're ready to swallow it up.
And you
know?
swallow it up with juices and everything.
Right.
Now, here's another way. If you can pick out your own oysters, pick them out so there's a little gap there in the hinge, then you'll just take a beer can opener.
You want a towel? No?
Don't need it with this method.
That's it.
That's open and they'll do the same thing.
Now that it's
But that's
open,
nice. That's nice if you can pick it out yourself.
yeah. Beautiful.
Now, as to clams.
The clam, I think, are much easier to open than the oyster. I put it on the side there, and then with my 2 fingers here and my hand, I kind of pry it into it.
And you did it.
And cut it totally. Then you open it in half. And then with this, you want to cut that part and that part so that they are here. And again, getting it loose.
Now, how are we going to serve this? With a sauce?
Yes, so maybe I'll do a cocktail sauce, the classic cocktail sauce with ketchup, fresh horseradish. And you
And I'll do the mignonette, which is kind of a vinegar sauce with shallots. Well, we have some chopped shallots already
We have
there.
shallots,
And what kind of a herb?
fresh thyme.
Well, I'll use that.
And I'll crush a little bit of pepper for you. And you hear it crack.
That's rather nice, isn't it?
This is what you do for a steak au pois, you know, crushing it. And that's what we call mignonette. This, so I'll give you the mignonette. That much.
Well, I don't need much else except vinegar, red wine.
The red wine vinegar. You want a little dash of salt in there too?
Mm-hmm.
Good, that's it. So in mine, which is very classic, I'm going to put some ketchup and some, look at that horseradish, fresh horseradish. You cut a piece of it. This is very strong, you know. If you do that in the food processor or whatever, you cry, you know. So you have to peel it like this, and you use a grater to do that, like a box grater. So you just grate it. Some fall inside. The one to stay on the outside. I get it out this way. That doesn't last very long when you do that. But
or you can buy some already grated
can.
in a bottle. If you buy it, be sure that it's not more than a cream color. Because it darkens fairly quickly, doesn't it?
Yes. Okay, so I think in there I like to put a dash of Tabasco.
8 drops. That's quite a bit, isn't it?
Maybe a couple of drop of Leon Perrin sauce.
Worcester sauce.
Yes. Lemon juice. And I'll strain that through my impeccable clean hand.
Mm-hmm.
As you say, that's it.
That looks good.
Okay, so we'll mix this. Would you like to eat a clam or an oyster?
I'll have a small clam with that, I think.
A little bit of this, okay. Here you are. And I put a little bit of the shallots here on top. You don't want to put too much of that. This is strong.
Oh, that's very good.
Good. And just swallow it.
That's the nicest way to eat the oyster, I think.
It's good.
Now we're going to just discuss shrimp and how to cook it. And when you buy them, these are big shrimp.
Yes, they are under 16, so-called. It means 12, 16 to the pound. They usually tell you it's 26.30 or under 10. The under 10 are less than 10 shrimp, you know, so they're very large, very expensive.
These are really expensive.
They are
too.
expensive,
They are.
yes. But they are so good.
I think very often when you buy cooked shrimp, they haven't flavored them and they're very disappointing. So what we're going to do, we're going to cook these shrimp in a cool bouillon. That means a flavored liquid.
Right, so you have...
I have 2 cups of water in here.
You need...
And we need some onions.
Okay.
And this has to cook for 20 minutes. And we're going to put a bay leaf in there.
Fresh thyme.
Fresh thyme.
And then you want some salt.
Yeah.
We have cracked pepper. And then a little piece of lemon.
Go on. That's going to put in a handful of pepper. And how much wine should we put in it?
Well,
about a cup of wine?
Yeah, sounds good to me. We have carrot. Good.
Let's see.
That's a nice color. It comes to a boil, and that would boil for what? A good 10, 15 minutes?
10 or 15 minutes.
Yes. And then you may want to cook it with or without the shell, eh?
Yes, now, what's the theory that it's prettier with the shell off?
Yes, the point is also, you know, when you take the shell off, you can really open it. And as you can see, for example, this one's got the intestinal tract. And the intestinal tract is that long intestine, you know, which is full of very gritty things. Sometimes they have it, sometimes they don't. When you have it, when you cook it with the shell, of course, you have to clean it up after. So there, it's one way, or then you serve them directly at the table unshelled, which is another way.
Which is nicer for the host because he doesn't have to shell them.
Right. It's different for the guest. In any case, here, you can cook them one way or the other. The amount of cooking is going to be about the same.
Then when that's at the boil, put them in.
But I feel that when you shell them, the shell has a lot of taste. Either I keep the shell, I freeze it for another thing, or then I put my shell with the shell shrimp, you know, in it to give taste to the whole thing. Well, we put all this in.
Right.
Okay. But basically, by the time your vegetable stock has a lot of taste, 10, 15 minutes of cooking, you drop your shrimp in it, you bring it to a strong boil, you cover it, you put it on the side. That's it.
And that's enough. That's all the cooking it needs.
And you let it cool off in the liquid. They pick up taste.
I think that's very important because you've had all this flavor, And the shrimp has to sit in it to pick
Yes.
up the flavor, doesn't it?
Absolutely right. So here you can see those have been cooked without the shell, but all of the shell are in there. You want to taste that bouillon? It tastes good now, I think, after. You know, the bouillon, I do a consommé or a soup with it. You know, it's quite nice. Shall we prepare a shrimp cocktail with this one? Okay. This is a beautiful glass.
It's pretty to have them hang, isn't it?
Well, we could do that. You want to put the lettuce right in there like this and
then
put the shrimp around?
Cocktail sauce around it?
Yes, or on the side in a little container like this. What do you
I
think?
think that would be nice. Let's do it that way.
So we'll do it this way. You put shrimp there. I put shrimp there. Maybe we could keep a little space here to have a little wedge of lemon.
Well, that doesn't make too many shrimp per serving, does it?
Yes, well, so we could also...
This is just one serving, isn't it?
This is one serving, so they are expensive. How many do you want to serve to your guests? Depending on how much you like your guests, right? And then we have our cocktail sauce, you know, that we did for the oyster. This would be perfect with that. I love cocktail sauce with that. But you know, at home, what we do also, my wife particularly loves to munch on it and take the shell herself, so we cook it with the shell. You know? And I have some here which are cooked with the shell. And differently than the other one, see the other of the shell, we like to serve it lukewarm, not cold, you know? And we serve it directly on the table, you know, like this, into the hot stock.
That's the lazy cook who doesn't want to peel the shrimp for you.
No, we peel it at the table, and we enjoy
He
it.
doesn't want to peel it for you. But that is really looks very nice there.
Yes, and we put the stock in it. You know, I like to eat it this way with melted butter. So I take a bit of cracked pepper or freshly ground black pepper, and then lemon juice. Put lemon juice in there and the melted butter.
Now, having unpeeled it, what are we going to do with the black vein, Jacques?
We eat it.
Because you can eat it pretty well.
It's digested protein anyway. There is nothing really wrong with it. And sometimes, many times, in fact, you find it and there is nothing in it. Now, if you at the table want to remove it, you can still open and see if there is nothing inside. See, this one doesn't seem to have much. Maybe a little bit so. I'm going to taste it this way with the melted butter.
I'll see what's in mine.
I like it lukewarm, you know. So you have some in yours?
Don't seem to have any.
Oh, good.
Maybe it disappears into the...
During the cooking.
There I do.
Now you do. But if you don't do it, maybe you won't even know it.
No, I wouldn't. But I think a lot of people are very fussy. Then how are they going to get the vein out of their fingernails? They always wear a towel.
Yeah, that's why you have rince-doigt at the table, you know?
Yeah.
Finger bowl after that.
I'll
so
try that with that.
In the melted butter lukewarm. And you can try it with the sauce here.
That is very nice with the melted butter.
It is very good, yes. And especially with the stock here.
That's a nice way of doing it. Kind of messy. But that's okay.
At the table, you know.
Now we're going to do mussels. And mussels now you can find all over the country. They're very perishable, so when you buy them, you should cook them just as soon as possible. We have the two kinds. These are cultivated. And how do they do that, Jacques?
They cultivate them on wire now, so they don't touch the bottom. The advantage of it, there is no sand in them, too. They are quite nice. Also very inexpensive, as shellfish goes. Mussels are very inexpensive and very high in protein.
And then these are the wild ones, and these ones that you would catch on the rocks and on the low tide. And these you have to be very careful where you get these to make sure that they are in pure water.
Right. And those have those beards here, you know, that are attached to it. You get that.
And you were saying that they make gloves out of them or something like that?
Oh, in Greece, they pull this out, and this is protein. It's very, very hard, and they wave a glove out of it, and the glove is given from father to son.
They weave it, yes.
They weave it, yes. No. The fisherman, a knife doesn't go through those gloves. So I saw that when I was there. It was interesting, you know.
But you want to be sure these have to be soaked in lightly salted water until when you pick them up, there's no sand in the bottom.
Yes.
And they are inclined to be salty, so I think...
You rub them, yes?
Oh, yeah.
Rub them nice and clean. You change the water 3-4 times.
Oh, for 5 or 6 even.
Oh, 5-6 times.
Or anyway.
All right.
Now we're going to cook them.
We're going to do them in a very simple way, cellar style, we call Moules Mariniere, and just with white wine, onion, and so forth. So we'll mix a little bit of both of them. I have about 3 pounds here.
And we cook them until they open.
Yes. So we'll start by putting that in that big thing here.
You'll put them in, I'll put in the wine.
Okay.
And they're just cooked in wine. Shallots.
You put shallots?
Yep. We have, there's some chopped shallots in there. And a bay leaf.
I like onion. You like bay
All
leaf?
right, put some onion in too. Except they're not going to cook very long, are they?
Well, they're going to cook a little while. I'll give you a bit.
You're better at swishing them than I am.
No, I'm not. You're doing very well.
Well, I think you do it better.
Okay.
We want a little butter, John.
Okay, so we have
Let me put
butter
the
right
bay
here.
leaf.
That's it. You want some parsley in there?
Why not?
And some, maybe some pepper? White?
We
Dark?
certainly don't want any salt, that's for sure.
Okay.
Open some dark pepper.
Good.
And the thing is that this makes its own lovely sauce.
It has to come to a boil and then it...
That'll take about 5 or 10 minutes.
Yes, you toss them.
So we'll be back. Don't leave us. Now the mussels are done when they open up. And that they certainly smell done, don't they? There
Smells
they
delicious.
are, opened up.
So we serve them in the juice like this, like
Yes.
the real
And you can
country
see.
style.
But when you serve them with the shell, just like this.
That's it. With the juice, right?
And then ladle some juice in.
And eat that with a lot of bread. But in Belgium, this is the national dish, and they eat that with French fry. That they call les moules frites, mussel and French fry. And it's really good.
And then you would taste, you would eat the mussels and taste the juice. Mmm. That's delicious.
good.
It's very simple, isn't it? Just
That's
wine
good.
and flavoring.
But another dish that we used to do when I work at the Pavilion, I don't know if you ever had it at the Pavilion, was a famous soup called the Billi Bi. Apparently, I don't know whether you know whether it's true or not, it was invented by someone in Normandy in France for one of the GI during the Second World War. Have you ever
really?
heard that?
No.
But it's called Billi Bi.
I thought it was much earlier than that.
No, so we put here for about 6 people 2 cups of cream directly into your sauce, and that has to come back to a strong boil. Then we strain it, cool
And
it off,
that's
and
your
serve it
Billi Bi.
cold. And that's your Billi Bi.
So we'll wait till it comes back to the boil.
Right.
There, that's at the boil, Jacques.
Oh boy.
Well, look
Yeah,
at
this is good.
that's a wonderful
It does smell good, huh?
Good.
I think one of the best ways is to put it directly in a big colander like this. That's it. So that I can shake it a little bit if there's any juice in the shell.
Yeah.
Like that, it falls down, you know? Okay. And then I have to restrain it into something finer here.
Let's do that.
And basically, when you do it, if you have a chance of letting it rest for a few minutes, then look at the bottom if there is any sand, you know. Sometimes there is still a bit of sand. See, I see a little bit here. You see at the end?
Yes, look at that. So the thing is to do it very slowly and toss out that sand. Let's see how that tastes now.
Now, that can be served hot, but it was usually served always
That's nice hot.
cold at the Pavilion. It is nice hot, too. So
Very
I have
good.
one which is cold, and I think we should have a bit of chives in it. So this is a very rich soup, of course, and you would not serve much more than about 4 ounces, you know,
Yes,
because this is quite rich and delicious
that's very
and
pretty,
elegant,
isn't
you know.
it?
Yes.
We'll just taste that.
It's a different taste than when it's hot, yeah?
It's very nice, isn't
Yes.
it?
So we'll
Sort
put
of
it
a
here.
more elegant version of a Vichy sauce.
Yes, very elegant version. So now, out of this is the part where you would want to remove, of course, all of those because we only use the juice for the Billi Bi. Look at the size of those, you know. They are
Those
beautiful.
are beautiful.
But do you want to use some of those directly on the plate?
Or are we going to put them back into the shell with a ravigot sauce? What do you think?
Oh, so we could do that. So at that point, we keep half a dozen of nice shell, like this.
Let's put a little lettuce on,
Yeah.
don't you think? Just to make a bed for them.
Okay.
Then I think when we make the sauce, put a little sauce in each one and then the mussel on top, would you say?
Yeah, okay, so we can arrange that here, and then
Yeah.
we'll put the sauce after in it whenever.
We'll make the ravigot in here.
It's actually beautiful.
We need a bit of chopped shallots in there.
So what do you want in there?
We
Chopped
need
shallots?
some chopped shallots
Okay.
and a bit of mustard.
So I'll let you...
You
Make the
do
stuff?
the shallot, I'll put
Okay.
a little mustard in. And then we
we
want a
get?
bit of hard-boiled egg.
Oh, here it is.
I think we have some. Well, that's a nicely hard-boiled egg, isn't
You
it?
want, you want a knife? You want that knife?
Okay.
Okay, so shallot. You have mustard there, shallots,
I do, yes.
pepper. I'm putting black pepper, pickle.
Let's have a little pickle. I think that's delicious.
I love the pickle. Those are not the sweet pickle, by the way. Those would be like your gherkin. Here we are here. So this is a kind of sauce that you can use with a poached fish. It's great. You can use that with our mussel here. You can do a salad with it. Some parsley in there.
Oh,
that
that's
would work
very
well with
nice.
it. Yes. You
What
want
else now do you
what type
think?
of oil do you want in there?
Some excellent olive oil.
Okay.
Because I like it. This is a very light olive oil.
Yes. How about some vinegar?
Yes. A bit of fresh lemon. A little.
Here we have the lemon. And this is white wine vinegar, right?
Mm-hmm. How was that? Pretty good?
Yeah.
Ravigot.
Ravigot, yes. I'll give you back your mussel if you want to put.
I'll put a little bit.
So you put some in there, and I'll put one mussel in each?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If they are small, you can put several mussel in it. Shall we put some on top too?
Yes.
And back on top. That's good. And
This is very nice.
and with mussel, of course, you need a nice
A nice white wine.
white wine. And you know what you need too? French
Right.
bread.
Yeah.
To dip it in the juice, you know? So that's what we're going to
Tear it
do.
apart, you think?
We're going to tear it apart. We're going to eat our mussel. We're going to drink our wine. And we're going to toast you.
I'm going to say, bon appetit.
And happy cooking.
Good to be cooking with you, Jack.
Sure is.
Okay.
A presentation of KQED San Francisco.